Okay. So, we are on the page that says parallel lines cut by a transversal. All right. So first, some quick vocabulary review. Congruent. Okay. Figure it out. So the first vocabulary word is congruent. What does it mean if something is congruent? What does it mean if something's congruent? Ms. Barron, am I speaking like an audible? Okay, Emily? Good. Congruent means the same, or in math terms, equal. Okay? Congruent means equal. It's the same. Okay? So,
did we just start notes?
Yeah. Question 1 says the measure of two angles are 5x plus 24 and 9x minus 17 degrees. What is the value of x if they are congruent? So y'all just said that congruent means equal or the same. So literally all I'm doing is writing both equations and I am setting them equal to each other. That's it. Okay? So congruent means the same, so I write both equations and I set them equal to each other. We have done this for over a week now. Y'all are getting so good at it, so quick. We're going to do one together, and then I'll let you do some more. Okay, what do I do first?
Draw the line.
Ava?
-5.
Okay, -5. Sorry, Alex. Okay, and why am I minusing 5?
Because it's the small one.
The small one. Good. Okay, those cancel out. 24 equals 4x minus 17. I ask you these questions not to be annoying, but I'm hoping that when you do it by yourself, you're asking yourself the same thing. What am I doing next? Why am I doing that? Okay, what is the next step? Kylie? Okay, so what is the smaller number with the variable? So how do I get rid of that 17?
Plus 17.
Add 17. Okay, cancel. 41 equals 4x. I am not done. I still have one more step. Everybody, what's the last step? Divide. Okay, show your division because some people get confused and forget what number to put on the calculator first. This is going to be a decimal. That's okay. What is 41 divided by 4?
10.25.
10.25. If I asked you to round that to the nearest 10th place, what would you tell me?
10.3.
10.3. Good job. Because that 5 tells me to up the score. Okay? Number 2. It gives you two angles. It tells you they are congruent. What should you do? Set them equal to each other, correct? Okay. I'm going to let y'all solve this one by yourself. Okay? So set those two equal to each other. And then solve for x. Yes.
Can I take my shoe off for a sec? I forgot my shoe.
Okay. So set them equal to each other and now solve for x. Asking yourself the same questions I always ask you. This one works out a little bit nicer. It is a whole number.
So it's just the same algebra?
Yep, same algebra. We're just putting it with lines. And like yesterday, we did geometry. Did you get the answer, Luke? What'd you get?
7.
Es bueno, senor. Hopefully you also got 7. If you did not, look at my work, compare it to your work, look for your mistake, okay? So when it's congruent, literally all you're doing is setting them equal to each other and solving for x, okay? Now we need to talk about another word because question 3 says that my angles are supplementary, okay? In 7th grade, we never talked about this word. Does anyone know what supplementary means? Emily? Do what? Okay, they are going to be different, yes. Let's look at our picture up here of supplementary angles. And let's think about what we know about angles and what the relationship might be between those two angles.
They're both exterior.
Okay.
Both not finished.
Okay, they're different. What do we know about straight angles from yesterday?
They're always 90. 180.
They add to 180, right? We talked about this yesterday. Straight angles add to 180. Anybody remember that? Okay, so I know that these have to do what?
Add to 180.
Add to 180. Good, Noah. Add to 180. Is 130 plus 50 180? Yes. So supplementary means add to 180. Tell Miss Barron. Supplementary
adds to 180.
Girls, tell me.
Supplementary adds to 180.
Okay, perfect. All right, so instead of setting these equal, we're now going to add them to equal 180. So my equation is 3x plus 10 plus 2x plus 5 equals 180. Okay, so I'm not setting them equal to each other anymore. I am setting them equal to 180. Okay, now I'm going to do what we've been working on, combining like terms. Are there any terms that I can combine?
2x and 3x.
Okay, so I boxed 2x, and then what else? Plus 2x. What is 3x plus 2x?
5x.
5x. Okay, my other numbers are plus 10 and, okay, what is 10 plus 5?
15.
15. Again, if you're still struggling, this algebra is not going away. You have to come to tutorials. I promise the more you do, the better you will get. I promise. Okay? Now what do I do? Okay, minus 15. And then what's that final step? Division. Good. So x is 33. Okay, so the only two things that can happen is either they are congruent, which means you set them equal to each other, or they're supplementary, which means they add to what? 180. Okay, either congruent or supplementary. That's it. Nothing else can happen. Okay, so now I'm going to show you kind of what it's going to look like when you see these problems. All right, a transversal is a line that goes through parallel lines. Which figure shows me parallel lines, A or B? Why? Yes, so parallel means they never intersect. They never touch. They never cross. Okay? They never intersect. So this line is parallel to this line. Okay? That other line going through it, that is what is called the transversal. A transversal just cuts through parallel lines, and it makes two types of angles. Congruent angles or supplementary. That's it. Okay? Now on figure B, they're not touching yet, but are they going to be touching in the very, very near future?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay? That's why it is not a parallel. Okay, they're going to touch. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
All right, flip your paper. Okay, now with one of your highlighters or one of your colored pencils or whatever you have, we're going to shade angle 2, 3, 6, and 7 the same color. 2, 3, 6, and 7. You can use my pencil, you can use marker. I don't care. 2, 3, 6, and 7.
Oh, I messed up.
Okay, what can you tell me about those angles? Yes. They are all acute. They're so cute. And their little pink highlighting. They are cute. That is correct. Okay? Everybody agree they're all acute?
Yeah.
Okay, so this means they are congruent. Okay? They're congruent because parallel lines cut by a transversal makes two different types of angles. Okay? These are all acute. Okay, which means they are congruent. Because you're only going to have two numbers that this could possibly be. Alright, now highlight 1, 4, 5, 8, another color. And based on Alex's statement, I bet you can tell me what these have in common.
They're obtuse.
These are all obtuse.
Wow, I was right.
Okay, so if they're obtuse, they are also going to be congruent to each other. So if you can figure out which angles are congruent to each other, then this is easy. Okay, if you're not sure how to figure out which ones are congruent, you might struggle a little bit with this. Okay, it is okay to do this every time you see transversals. On STAR, yes, it's on the computer, but you have highlighters on the STAR on computers. Okay, you're taking them on your Chromebooks. Alright, so if they're the same color here, they're congruent, these are acute, these are obtuse. What do you think that means the relationship between one of each color is? Like 5 and 7, what do they make?
8. No. 20.
They make 180 because they make a straight angle. What about 1 and 2? 180. What about 2 and 4? What about 4 and 3? Okay, so if you have one of each, what do they do? Add to 180.
Wait, what? I don't get that.
Angles that are different colors are supplementary. Because they form a straight angle. So do you see that they make a straight angle, Angela?
Yeah.
Okay, so if they make a straight angle, that means they're supplementary. It's just another word. It's 180. They add to 180. Okay? All right, so let's see what this looks like in a real world problem. Well, not real world, but a picture problem. So down below, we have two parallel lines, and they're cut by a transversal. So let's just pick angle 1, okay? What other angle is the same as angle 1?
Angle 3.
Angle 3. What else is the same?
5.
5. What else?
7.
7. Okay? Those angles are all the same. So if it tells me angle 5 is 45 degrees, okay? What else is also 45 degrees? 1, 5, and 7. Good. And if you're asking, is it really this easy? Yes. Okay? 1, 3, 5, and 7. Okay? So those are congruent. That's how I know they're the same number. Yes.
I know this time I got 45 because it's a
Yeah, the problem tells me 45. Okay? So now I need to figure out the other numbers. Well, I've only been given 45, but I know that the other angles are what?
obtuse. Supplementary.
Okay? Remember, angles are either congruent or supplementary, and that's it. So if they're not congruent, that means they are supplementary, which means they do what? Add to 180. So 180 minus 45.
35. What? Yeah.
Okay? So angle 2 is what? 135. Angle 6 is what? Angle 8 is what? 135. So remember, it can only be two different things, congruent or supplementary. Once you figure that out, you just got to do the math. Okay? All right, let's look at the next question.
Yes, ma'am.
It tells us that it is a transversal. It's parallel lines cut by transversal. And it gives us 70. Okay, angle 7 is 70. What other angles are congruent to angle 7? Okay, I hear 6. So the diagonals are congruent, 6 and 7. Over here, what's congruent? 3 and 2. Does everybody understand why those 4 are the ones that are congruent? Yes, ma'am.
Isn't Mike gonna be 1 and 4?
Okay, so this is in the top right corner. If you come over here, this is in the top right corner. This is called corresponding. So they're in the same place. So the
Could it be 1 and 4 and 5?
yeah, but because we were given 7, we asked what went with 7. So then that means 1, 4, 5, and 8 also go together. Okay, so it tells me I circled all the ones that are the same. Is angle 2 one that's the same? Yes, so angle 2 is 70 degrees.
So that means 5 would be 110.
Okay, and how did you get that, Brandon? You're correct.
180 minus 7.
Good, is 110. Okay? So as long as you will label your picture in the beginning to figure out which one's corresponding, which one is congruent, then the other ones you're just subtracting from 180. And that's it. Everybody okay? Okay, what are we confused about? Who said no? Alejandro, you doing okay? All right. Let's look at the next page, number 6. Okay, so they're giving me these lines. Are these congruent or supplementary?
Supplementary. Congruent. They are congruent.
Okay. So they're in the same place. It's on the top. It's on the top. Okay? It's in the top. It's in the top. Top right. Top right. Top right. Top right. So what do you think x equals?
Top right.
Yeah, top right.
In the last one, what do you think x equals?
75.
Okay, yeah.
75.
Yes. So on STAR and on the DCA, this is what they give you examples. They show you. These are congruent. These are congruent. These are congruent. So what do you think these are? Congruent. So should your answer be 75? Yes. Okay, that just comes from you knowing the rule. Okay. Number 7. What happened? Okay, number 7. It tells you that they are parallel, it's cut. Perfect. I'm looking at angle 1 and angle 2. So circle angle 1. Is angle 2 congruent or is it supplementary? Okay, these two are congruent. So why are we saying supplementary? Okay, but are they both acute? If they're both acute, it is congruent. If they're both acute, it's congruent. But also, if you'll take 5 seconds and label these, and if it confuses you, turn your paper like this. But the first thing you need to do every single time is to label the ones that are congruent. Okay, I circled 1 and I circled 2. What does that mean? They're congruent. Yeah, they're the same. So then what do I do with these two equations? If they're congruent, I add them. If it's congruent, what do I do? Guys, what does congruent mean?
Parallel.
Congruent means equal or the same. So if they're congruent, I put an equal sign between them. Okay? Take a moment to solve that.
Oh, we're going to do algebra?
Do not pick B. Do not pick B as your answer. B is a trick.
Oh, okay. Wow. Staves, I don't think that's how tricks work.
Wait, how is it not B?
Is B an angle or is B X?
B's
Oh. I see it.
But do you see that there's an angle, a degree sign after the answer choices? Okay, so it's not 8 degrees. 8 is X. So how could I figure out the angle? We did this yesterday. We did it yesterday. We plugged in. Do y'all remember plugging in? Okay, just like yesterday, there was a trick. and I said you have to plug in once you get x. That's what we have to do. We have to plug in. Okay, so what's our equation for angle A?
3x plus 3.
Okay, thank you. And instead of x, what number should I plug in? 8. I'm literally just taking this number and plugging it in. 3 times 8 plus 3, 27. Okay, so always make sure you know what the question is asking. There won't be a lot like that, but there will be a couple like that that make you have to think. Okay? All right, 2 more.
Answer C.
Yeah. All right, on the back, number 8. We're almost done with notes.
I'm tired.
Number 8. Are those angles congruent or supplementary on number 8?
Supplementary.
Congruent.
Oh no, sorry.
They're congruent.
They're congruent. Okay? On the second one, are they congruent? Yes. On the third one, are they congruent?
Yes.
So what do you think the fourth one is?
Congruent.
Congruent. So what is the value of x?
79.
79. You don't even have to read, Noah, all those words because you know the relationship. Okay? If you know 79, 81 greater 11, literally all you have to do is know the relationships. Okay? If you know the relationships, you don't have to do anything.
Miss Davis?
Yes.
On the one like right under 113, that's just 90 degrees, right? Because it's the right angle.
Yeah. All right, last one. First thing we need to do is decide congruent. So I'm going to circle this one. This one is also congruent. Okay, on the bottom, is this 4x congruent or is it supplementary?
Supplementary?
Yeah, because it's on the bottom what?
Bottom.
Left.
Bottom left.
So that means this is the bottom left and these. So if they're not circled or they're not highlighted the same, that tells me they are supplementary. Okay? When they're supplementary, what do I do? Add them. Good. 6x plus 20 plus 4x plus 10. And what does it equal? 180. I'll give you a minute to solve that. Don't shout out the answer. This one is not. Make sure you combine your like terms first. Boxing the ones that go together.
Jesus.
I got it.
All right, give everybody a chance. Then you can tell me the answer. Yes, ma'am.
Why would it be 6x plus 1 equals x plus 10?
So we circled the ones that were congruent, right? So are those two angles congruent? No. And one of them is acute and one of them is obtuse. So if you have an acute and an obtuse, that also tells you they're going to be supplementary. You got it done, Kylie? Mace, you got it done? Okay, why is your pencil not moving?
I don't know what I did.
Either the pencil needs to get moving or I need a reason why you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Your answer is not a trick. It is one that is there. Make sure you combined like terms first. Then you're moving the 30 over. And then the last step is to do what?
Divide.
Divide. Good. Okay. The answer was 15. So look at your answers to see where you messed up.
Oh, I didn't do it like that.
Wait, I thought you did -4. It's already plus.
Wait.
Okay.